Hi, hello, good morning. Or I guess it would be more appropriate to say good evening, seeing as it is 5:53 p.m. As I'm recording this in Los Angeles. So I love watching other people's what I eat in a week videos. However, I eat a lot of different things in a week, and seeing as I cook most of my own food, it would kind of just be like an outrageously long video if I made an entire video of everything that I ate in a week. Dinners feel like they're just easier to handle, you know? It's only 7 days in a week. That's easy. That's just 7 things that I put my whole heart and soul into. So yeah, I filmed everything that I ate for dinner this week, and without further ado, let's get into it. So day 1, I don't know exactly what to call these. These are definitely not authentic sushi hand rolls, but I guess I would call them my sort of like inauthentic faux Westerner tofu sushi hand wraps. That was a mouthful. Okay, let me have a do-over. I would call these my sushi inspired vegetable hand rolls with tofu, which is still a little bit of a mouthful, but less so. I would know because I do actually have a very small mouth. I don't know if you can tell, and I don't want you to look now that I've said that, so let's just continue like this. This is actually one of my favorite quick and easy meal ideas. I always have nori on hand, I always have short grain rice on hand, and I basically always have a block of tofu in the freezer. So as long as I think to marinate it ahead of time, these are super quick and easy for me to pull together with whatever vegetables I happen to have in the fridge. I'm a big sushi enthusiast. I know that for a lot of people that might seem kind of weird due to the whole vegan thing, but I can assure you vegan sushi is very delicious. I would personally recommend it even if you are not vegan. If the idea of like raw fish kind of puts you off, which I feel like for a lot of people, that's what scares them about sushi, you don't have to worry about that with vegan sushi. Just eat your vegetables, don't worry about it. So the next day I made these taco stuffed peppers. These are really, really good. This is a Liv B recipe. I love her stuff. I've made a couple of her recipes and they always just knock it completely out of the park. I really like these because I think that they ride that fine line between tasting really good but still feeling really healthy, if that makes sense. Like they're seasoned really well, they taste really good, but because of like the sheer amount of vegetables and especially like the pepper cup, they feel really, really healthy in a way that I don't think that they would if you put them in like a tortilla bowl. You totally do not have to top these with vegan cheese if that is something that weirds you out. I know that a lot of people are not vegan cheese lovers, so this is totally optional, but I personally really enjoy it. I feel like it gives it a little bit more of like a decadent feel that I don't think it would have without. You could also make this with something like a plant-based ground meat if you wanted to skip the beans instead, but I actually really like the beans in this recipe. I don't think that it needs anything like a faux meat. So if you are somebody who is put off by faux meats, this is a good one. You definitely won't feel like you're missing out on anything. And then the next day, this is just a very simple meal that I pulled together, just a grilled cheese and some tomato soup. I absolutely do gravitate towards more simple meals when I'm feeling overwhelmed in my day-to-day life. For me, cooking is such a nice creative outlet, but there are some days when I just don't have the emotional energy to be putting in when I have other things that I need to do. So as much as I love to cook, I love being in the kitchen. It is such a meditative experience for me. There are times when there is just not space in my brain for that. And on days like that, I will go for something more simple like this. And then the next day, I also did something fairly simple. I just threw together, this is my favorite simple tofu recipe. It's only 3 ingredients. I will of course link the recipe in the description below, so please check it out. I just paired this tofu with some brown rice and some green peas. So yeah, this was another quite simple meal. I did make the tofu, but again, that is just so easy. Literally 3 ingredients. I just popped mine in the air fryer. Mwah, chef's kiss. It was perfect. So I wish that I had been filming at the time, but I just threw these together yesterday for lunch. I had about 1/2 of a bottle of Just Egg left in my fridge. I'd used it for a recipe earlier this week. And so I just figured that I would throw it together with whatever vegetables I had in my fridge. I believe I had red and green bell peppers. I had some chives, garlic. So I just figured that I would like throw it together and see if it was good or not. And oh my god, I wish that I had been filming because these ended up turning out really, really good. They have that great like frittata-y texture on top where like there's little caramelized bits. They were just really good. Okay, you're gonna have to take my word for it, unfortunately, because somebody didn't film. But yeah, these were really good. So I am just going to heat these up in the oven, and I'm going to do it in the oven and not the microwave because they have like this nice firmness to them that I think they would just totally lose in the microwave. They would get like soggy, I assume. I have such an issue with microwaving food because like I am a weird person with textures. I really don't consider myself a picky eater at all, but I really just can't do like soggy, like microwaved food when it should be like crispy or firm. Not relevant. Moving on to Saturday, we have another very lazy meal by my standards. I picked up this Trader Joe's vegan spinach and cashew ravioli. This was so good. To me, any sort of pre-made pasta typically falls within the lazy meal category, but this was so good. It was fresh. It was in like the refrigerated section, so I don't think this could actually even count as a lazy meal. I take it back fully. It was that good. Now, honestly, I would have just eaten this plain Like, I don't think that it needed a sauce. I don't think it needed to be tossed in like olive oil or butter or anything. It was that good. I think the flavors really spoke for themselves. But I did end up tossing it in just a little bit of marinara sauce just because I had a jar that I was trying to use up. But yeah, these were really delicious. Would definitely recommend. And now moving on to the last day of the week. This was my most high effort meal for sure. This is a glazed pineapple tofu ham. And I served this with mashed potatoes. I actually made a tofu recipe similar to this for my family's Christmas dinner this past December. And you know what? The one that I made for my family was a lot more work and it was not as good as this one. I was really impressed by how much easier this recipe was in comparison and how much more flavorful it was. I stuck to the recipe essentially to a T, except that instead of marmalade, I used apricot jelly, and instead of using soy sauce, I did half the amount soy sauce and half of it vegan. Okay. Vegan Worcestershire. Hold on. Worcestershire. Vegan Worcestershire sauce. Whatever. But other than that, I followed the recipe pretty much to a T, and this was really good. Even if you're not a huge pineapple fan, I would recommend doing the pineapple rings on top. I think it is just so cute. It adds such a nice touch, and it really does taste delicious with the roast tofu. So yeah, that is everything that I ate for dinner this week. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that maybe it could give you some meal ideas. Let me know if you like this type of content because I really did have a lot of fun making this. I love sharing the food that I make. It's such a passion of mine, so it just warms my heart to know that other people like it too. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!